After days of raids and deportations in the U.S., backlash is brewing in Mexico. Large-scale protests against Donald Trump. North Korea test fires a ballistic missile, the first by Pyongyang since Donald Trump took office. So how will the new U.S. president handle the rogue nation? And Melissa McCarthy back at it, poking fun at the embattled U.S. Press Secretary Sean Spicer. But will the White House laugh it off? Hello, I'm Linda Kincaid. Welcome to CNN Newsroom. After months of being blamed for the loss of American jobs and security, Mexican immigrants and their families have had enough. Thousands of people in Mexico are sending U.S. President Donald Trump a message of their own. CNN's Shasta Darlington is joining us from Mexico City as those protests get underway. Shasta, just give us a sense of the feeling there.
Well, you know, we're in the middle of one of 17 marches that's being held across the country. You can see thousands of people are streaming right behind me. They're headed to the Angel of Independence, where they're going to meet up with another group and sing the national anthem. We're hearing a lot of anti-Trump rhetoric and also people who are mad at their own president, Enrique Peña Nieto, often because they think he isn't standing up strong enough to the new leadership to the north. We talked to one woman a short while ago who tried to explain this isn't an anti-American march, this is an anti-Trump march. Take a listen.
This is against Donald Trump, who is a very mean man, and I think that he will do a lot of harm to humanity. It's not only against Mexicans. I think he's on the wrong side of history, and we don't like the way he's treating our people over there. I just want to remind him that there were Mexican hands that built California, Texas, New Mexico, and so many other states.
Now, this again is just one of many marches. We expect thousands to participate across the country, really trying to get out this message that they will not stand for a wall being built between the two countries, especially with Trump demanding that Mexicans pay for it. There's a lot of fear and concern here about more severe applications of immigration policies. They're afraid this could see mass deportations of people who've done nothing but cross the border to look for a job, albeit illegally, and also a big concern about the possibility of renegotiating that trade deal NAFTA and slapping tariffs on Mexican goods. What we hear people saying over and over again is these are jobs that people rely on both sides of the border. You can't just break down 25 years of a trade and political relationship, Linda, but people definitely hoping to get their voices heard and also to step up pressure on their own president to be more firm, Linda.
And Shasta, of course, you mentioned the deportations. These protests come as we've seen raids right across the U.S. rounding up illegal immigrants. If we look at Donald Trump's latest tweet, it seems that this could be the start of much more to come. What are people saying there about their fears of mass deportations?
You know, deportations are nothing new. As even during the Obama administration, about 3 planes a week would arrive here in Mexico City with migrants who'd just been deported. And if this is a question of focusing on those people with a violent record, felons, I think there's an understanding. The problem is they think that the interpretation of the immigration laws is going to get more strict, more severe, so that they're pointing to the example of this woman, Guadalupe Garcia de Rayos, who was arrested and deported last week as she went to visit her immigration officer. She had broken the law. She was using a fake social security card, but she certainly hadn't committed any violent crimes. And in the past, these are people who she had 2 children who were born in the United States, who were American. She'd been there for 20 years. These were people who were given a certain amount of lenience. And so the concern is under the Trump administration, we're going to see more families broken up, more people deported who really have been living in the United States for decades. That has a lot of Mexicans concerned, Linda.
All right, certainly a lot to stay across there. Pretty loud there. Shasta Darlington, we will talk to you very soon. Thanks so much. Well, across the U.S., as I mentioned, undocumented immigrants have been blocking their windows and watching their doors. They are fearful after authorities in a dozen states locked up hundreds of undocumented immigrants this week. Officials call it a routine sweep targeting criminals, but President Donald Trump says it's a crackdown, and he says it's just what he promised from the campaign trail. Well, there's at least one service hoping to ease the fears of America's undocumented immigrants, and phones at that office have been ringing off the hook. Paula Sandoval reports from Arizona.
You wouldn't know it if you drove by this Tucson, Arizona building that bears the Mexican seal. But inside, it's a small army of call takers. This is more than just a phone bank. It's a clearinghouse for Mexicans run by the Mexican government. It's called CIAM, or the Center for Information and Assistance for Mexicans. It's the only one in the U.S.
We also explain all the consular services that we offer.
These days, Patricia Omada says people are concerned about more than just basic services.
It can be really tough for us as well, because every story, every call is another story. And I can have a call that can be about a passport, but I can also have a call saying that what happened if my kids are U.S. citizens and I have to go back to Mexico.
The need is high. That's why we have around 40 people working over here.
Consul General Ricardo Pineda, who leads this team, noticed a recent 100% increase in call traffic. The center received an average of 700 calls a day before Donald Trump was sworn in. Today, nearly 1,300, according to Pineda, who thinks more of his fellow Mexicans want answers about President Trump's immigration orders. He says many of the calls come from undocumented Mexicans with the new fear of dealing with U.S. immigration authorities. They fear deportation.
What we are trying to do is referring our community to professionals, to duly authorized attorneys here or in any location around the U.S. that can provide information. We are doing that, and we're going to continue that on a more intensive manner.
Pineda echoes a new message from his foreign ministry's office warning Mexican citizens in the U.S. to take precautions. The advice coming as hundreds of undocumented immigrants are being arrested in several states. The Mexican government foresees more severe immigration measures to be implemented with possible violations to constitutional precepts. Pineda says those concerns have prompted them to keep their lines open 24/7.
Call your consulate. Please come to the consulate. It's our duty to get along with you, to accompany you in any possible process.
With concerns about what the White House's next step will be, it doesn't seem that the phones will stop ringing anytime soon.
¿Cómo le puedo ayudar?
Paula Sandoval, CNN, Tucson, Arizona.